Hi everyone and welcome to this new speed build in The Sims 4. Today I'm kind of rebuilding the Bedlington Boathouse, which is the starter house in the neighborhood of Brindleton Bay that I think is called Cavalier's Cove. It's where you have the big forest and the beach where we cannot swim. And this was actually the very first build that I started working on out of the last 4 builds that I've shared on the channel. I actually started working on this build, I think, a couple days before Eco Lifestyle released. And this is the last build that I ended up working on. I actually restarted everything because I had lost the first footage that I had recorded of this house, but thankfully I only did the very basic shell of the house and not really anything else. And I had kept the floor plan that I had figured out for this house because I really liked it, and I really like this place in Brindleton Bay. I'm kind of sad that we do not have another one that's in this same environment, because this lot is really small. It's, I think, a 20 by 15 lot. It's really small, or maybe 20 by 20. I think it's a square, so it must be 20 by 20. So it's pretty small, and sometimes I wish I could make a bigger house on this lot, but it's impossible, unfortunately. But I really like where it's situated, and I'm probably going to build once again on this place, or on this lot, because I just really like where it is, and it's actually kind of close to how, or where I would imagine my dream house to be, so maybe that's why I'm so drawn to this lot. But this house has 3 bedrooms, although one of them is technically an office. I did use a bunch of items from Eco Lifestyle. I have used the bug house, I have used as well the candle making station. I have used a bunch of those shelves that we got with Eco Lifestyle because I really love them. And I honestly don't really know what kind of style I went with inside. I just wanted to have something that was very watery, so there's a lot of blues, there's a lot of beige, and it's really warm and cozy, and I really like the interior. It's very airy, and I feel like I'm doing a bunch of houses where I say that I'm doing an airy kind of furnishing inside and decorating. I don't know why. It's something that I'm really into recently. But something that I'm really happy with this house is the landscaping. It's definitely much better than what I usually do, because I recently released a tiny house that was inspired by the Elsa tiny house that had been suggested to me in another build. And by the way, I forgot to mention this in my tiny house build, but if you have any suggestions for me of houses to build, I would love to attempt to build that house, because it was really fun to see the Elsa tiny house. It's not a tiny house that I would have thought of building because I didn't really know it existed as well. But it was so much fun, and it was very interesting for me because that allowed me to experiment a bit more with landscaping and making a garden, which helped me a lot with this house. I did pretty much the same thing when it comes to decorating the outside, with the landscaping, with the plants, but I actually really like it. It's kind of all over the place, but not too much, and it's exactly how I would like to make my landscaping right now, so I'm really happy with the landscaping here. So yeah, if you have any suggestions for houses for me to build, please let me know. If it's just a floor plan, if it's just a picture of the front of the house, of the back of the house, I will try and attempt my best to building those houses. And yeah, it could be a good challenge for me. Talking about challenges, actually, this house, I wanted to keep it to make a the challenge where for each room you use only 1 pack. I wanted to use this house for that, but I never really got around to making that video. I'm not the best when it comes to build challenges, even, in challenges overall in The Sims 4. I tend not to follow them through. I either fall off the wagon or just recreate the entire challenge for myself. I don't know. I'm just not very good with challenges. I don't know. But I wanted to try out the each room is a different pack challenge for The Sims 4 because it seems really fun. But as I said, I just never really got around to do it, and in some ways I feel like I've missed out on something, but I also really enjoyed furnishing this house without any restrictions. I could definitely, if you would like for me to try that out, to just use this house but empty and just use each room to build with a pack, if that makes any sense, do this challenge on this house but empty. Or I could maybe try to find another floor plan to make and do this challenge anyway. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing me trying out this challenge, or maybe the other challenge that's kind of trending right now, which is the each room is a different color challenge. It seems interesting. I have been thinking about doing it, but I don't know. I'm not the best when it comes to challenges, so there you go. Now, the little pathway that I've made to go into the porch of the entrance of the house into the garden, it took me so long to make this one. I've spent, I think, almost an hour trying to make this pathway. It's something that I see a lot of builders do, and I have been trying for so long, to do those pathways, and I think I'm kind of figuring it out and trying to, managing to do something with those pathways to make them look like people have been walking on those pathways for quite a while and, make them look natural and realistic. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this pathway, but as I said, it took me so long to figure it out. And yeah, I actually, when I first started building this house, I said it was just a couple days before Eco Lifestyle released, and I just remember experimenting so much with the windows, with the doors. And when I rebuilt this house and did the entire shell, I had this feeling again of just being able to place the doors and windows everywhere. I feel like nobody's talking about it anymore, like it's normal, which it should have been from the very beginning, but I'm so glad still that we have had this update and that we were able to place the doors and windows as we want. Now, I wish that they would improve the gameplay a bit more. I have seen a video actually of Iron Seagull where he talks about the aspirations, and we have seen the build and buy mode get a lot of improvements in the past couple years, and I wish that the Sims team would maybe improve a bit more as well the aspirations, if not maybe add a couple more aspirations. Because I went back to watch some Let's Plays from The Sims 3, and the aspirations that we had in The Sims 3 were very, very cool. I never finished any of them because they were actually really challenging, and I kind of wish that we had something quite challenging in The Sims 4. I mean, a couple of the aspirations that we have are actually quite challenging, like the Renaissance Sim aspiration, which is one of my favorites. But the other ones, they're very simple to accomplish and to finish, and I don't feel like it really goes with, especially the way I play, and the aspiration, it's kind of the lifetime wish or the lifetime want of the Sims, like we had in The Sims 2 and in The Sims 3. It's something that your Sims should really want to do in their lives and not something that helps you go through the gameplay. I mean, it should be able to do both and not really guide you like a tutorial. That's something that I'm kind of mad as well with The Sims 4, and I really hope that eventually we'll get an update to improve on that. I also really wish, although that might be a little bit too difficult and maybe asking a little bit too much, but I wish that we could get an update on, the base game items and base game hairstyles and clothing items as well, because right now all of the new items that we got with Eco Lifestyle, with Discover University, with Tiny Living, the details on all of the items that we got is just amazing, especially with the hairstyles. And when you go back to some base game items, like for example the hairstyles, you can see that the details aren't the same and that the hair look very, very wonky and very strange, and that makes you not want to use that hair anymore. So I wish we could actually get an update on that and just have an improvement on those hairstyles, because some of them are very good looking, just I don't want to use them because they look really wonky in the game. But anyway, that was just a little request that nobody will ever hear, but yeah, let me know actually what you think of what you would like to, or maybe what you would like to see improved in The Sims 4. Things that you think could be done, I mean, some things I think could have been done in The Sims 4, like open neighborhood, but the way the game is coded is just, I can understand that it's not possible anymore, that it's a little bit too late, and I'm kind of okay with it now. It took me a little while, but I'm kind of okay with it now. But yeah, let me know in the comments if there are some things that you would like to see improved on in The Sims 4 that you think could be possible. But anyway, now I'm working on the inside of the house. I'm pretty much done as well with the outside. I'm just going to be going back to the back porch of the house where I've placed a bench. And over there I'm just going to be placing some decoration items, such as a shelf that we got with the Eco Lifestyle pack that I think looks amazing. It looks like, you know, a garden, you know, you have all of those pots in which you know you can place those flowers and stuff. I really like that shelf, but you will see that soon. And with the color theme I went for inside, as I said, it's really airy, it's really cool, it's really blue. I decided also to use a bunch of yellow and oranges to contrast with the wall, and I really like how alive it looks and how, I don't know, it has a lot of light. It has a lot of vibrant colors, but it's not too fleshy on the eyes. I really like that, and I'm so happy that I finally managed to use this shelf, because I haven't been able to use this shelf in the past builds that I've done. I tried to, but it didn't go with the style that I was going with, and here I just decided to mix and match kind of old style, homemade style of items and furniture with kind of modern as well, because this shelf looks like it's been made with old pipes, and the shelves in themselves are very new, just like the couch, I think, and the table and the chairs, I think, have been renovated maybe to be in this room, basically. So that's what I was going with, basically, and I'm really happy with the result. I honestly think that I will try to find a way to use this house in a gameplay, even on my own, or, you know, maybe in a let's play, who knows. This is actually a house that I really like. And it's not really that expensive as well. I think the house is only 62,000 simoleons. It's definitely not a house that you can afford right away from scratch, you know, when you first start a new game. But I don't think you need to save up for too long to be able to afford that house. And usually my houses, when I build them, no matter the size of the house, they end up being worth around 60,000 simoleons. So they're not starter houses, but they're not too expensive, which I'm always really surprised to see and really happy to see. And yeah, so now I'm just finishing up some decorations in the dining and the living area. I really like this space. I'm really happy. I struggled to figure out which chairs to go with, because I wasn't sure I wanted to use these ones. I wanted to go for something maybe a bit more modern and a bit more new, not, you know, old looking chairs like the ones I'd eventually went with, but I just couldn't find other chairs that could go so well in this space, and that could go so well as well with the table that I chose. And here I'm just figuring out the lamps and the lighting that I wanted to go with this room. I know that builders usually use those rounded lights, and they size them down and then, you know, leave them on the roof or on the ceiling, but I don't like doing this because it's not too realistic enough, you know, it's not realistic enough for me, and I like playing around with the lighting system in The Sims 4. And here I'm moving on to the kitchen, which I have spent actually a little bit of time in because I wasn't sure which counter to go with. I was sure actually that I wanted to use the counters from Parenthood, but I wasn't sure which swatch to go with, and I will do the same trick that I did with the second house that I've built in Evergreen Harbor. How is it called already? So Simple Suburban. Yes, this is the name of this house. And I had placed a picnic table in the kitchen, and I did the same thing here. I was so happy to finally have managed to place that picnic table in this So Simple Suburban house that I wanted to use it in another house, and I was so glad to see that the Sims could actually sit on 4 sides of that table, even if the table is against the wall. I was so happy about that I just wanted to go ahead and use it in here. And so for now I'm going with a red color theme inside this kitchen, but eventually I will change it for a blue and green. I won't change the counters, the cupboards though, because the top of the counters will be close to the same color of the cupboards, if that makes any sense. And I thought it was a nice gradient and a nice follow through with the color theme, but I think I will go with the green or maybe the blue counters. With I don't remember the name of those actually. Not the shelves, you know, the cupboards, but under the counters, if that makes any sense. I'm sorry, I forget my words sometimes. But yeah, here I'm just decorating a bit more not the bathrooms, the kitchen. By the way, this house has only 2 bathrooms, one upstairs being the master bathroom and one downstairs. I also didn't use any laundry items. I thought about it, I just didn't feel like wanting to play with any laundry in this room, in this house, So there's no laundry items, but I'm sure you can easily find a place to place the washing machine and dryer. And so here is when I'm actually trying to figure out which colors to go with. Because when I was looking through the archway, I saw that the red was actually too flashy compared to the rest of the house, so that's why I decided to go with different colors with the picnic table, and then I changed the cupboards to kind of follow on through this change of color for the picnic table. But here I'm moving on to the desk area, how is it called? Office room, there you go, which can easily be turned into a guest bedroom. I just wanted to have this room here because I like for my Sims to have an access to a computer, and I was actually imagining that the family who was living here, one of them was a gardener who liked to blog about their garden and maybe had a YouTube channel or maybe a blog, like Tumblr, where they shared some tips and some pictures of their garden, and that's why I wanted for them to have a computer. And maybe they were a freelancer as well. I've been playing a lot with the freelancer careers recently that I have to have a computer in my Sims houses because I have been playing with a family that doesn't have a computer in their house, and one of the Sims is a freelancer, and not having a computer when you're a freelancer is just a big mistake. But they cannot afford to have a laptop computer for now because the laptop computers are very expensive in The Sims 4. So they have to go to another lot to be able to use a computer, so that's kind of annoying, and I've been hoping to find a computer in the dumpster, but yet again, to be able to access the dumpster, they have to go on another lot, so it makes things kind of difficult and annoying sometimes, so that's why I also decided to go ahead and place a computer here. But I guess you can find a way to place the desk in the main room if you want to use this room as a bedroom. It's really easy to move things around in this house. It's not as closed up and as it doesn't have as much of a lack of space. That wasn't English at all. It doesn't have a lack of space as my So Simple Suburban had, for example. But there we go. Then I will be moving on upstairs, I'm pretty sure. By the way, the shelves that I've placed just next to the candle crafting station were here for you guys, if you don't know this house, to be able to place the candles that your Sims will be making on the shelves, as a decoration. This is something that I like to do, just to keep the candles and not have them all in my Sims inventory. But I'm actually just moving on to the bathrooms, not the upstairs right away. And this bathroom is really simple. I actually really like the style of it. I've been using a lot the toilets that came with Tiny Living because I really, really like them. I really like the style of them, although for now I'm just going with the basic one, which is usually the one that I go with because it's the one that looks the most realistic to me. And sometimes I tend to go with the cheapest items and I don't think about using the most expensive items because I'm always thinking that I would like for my Sims to be able to afford the houses that I built rather easily, and then I can improve on the house, which is why usually I go with the cheapest items. But I need to remind myself that the toilets aren't really that expensive, except the gold one that came with Get Famous. But the one that came with Tiny Living, isn't that expensive, so I try to use it a bit more. But here I'm working on the landing area upstairs. So as I said, there are 2 bedrooms upstairs, one of which is the master bedroom, and the other one, I furnished it thinking about a teenager. And I just placed a couple paintings, couple posters on the wall. It wasn't too heavily decorated, it's very, very basic. Actually, the posters that I went with were posters from Discovery University, and one is of a guitar. I think the other one is of a drum, I think. Or drums, sorry. And the other one, it's kind of the Pink Floyd Sim poster that you have with Discovery University that I really like, and I thought maybe the Sim who was sleeping in this room liked music, so that's what I went with. But it was also to follow through the color theme that I went with, because the walls are green, but the furniture I chose were red. These 2 colors actually go really well together, and they contrast each other pretty well. And it's not too bland, because at first the color that I chose for the bed, I think, was kind of blending too much with the wallpaper and what I was going with this room, but the red really, really contrasted with the walls and gave much more personality to this room. So that's also why I decided to choose these posters, and that's how I thought that maybe the Sim who was sleeping in this room was really into music, and I will use a desk as well, and I think I'm going to put a laptop as well on that desk because once again I was imagining a teenager who was probably spending a lot of time in their room and doing a bunch of stuff on their computer, like chatting with their friends, maybe writing books, complaining on blogs and stuff like that. But then I will be moving on to the master bedroom, which is kind of empty. I didn't really decorate it too much because I, once again, didn't really know what to go with. But I kind of like this style, and that, once again, gives you guys the ability to personalize a bit more this bedroom if you wish to do so. And then I will be moving on to the master bathroom, which is really small. It's going to be a 2x3 bathroom. But I think, you know, you can use it very easily, and I played and tested this house, everything works fine. I didn't really use too much of the move objects cheat this time, but, you know, I like to try and make sure that my houses work pretty well. Actually, the coffee table downstairs wasn't working properly. I just had to move it from 1 pixel and then it was working. This was an issue that I had with my container home, I think a couple builds ago, and my sim couldn't use an armchair, you know, a living armchair. I don't know the name of those, a living chair. They couldn't use it for some reason, and I moved it 1 pixel to the side, and the sim was able to use it, so there you go. But everything works fine in this house. And yeah, I'm actually going to leave you here, guys, because we're almost at the end of the building part of this video. So I really hope you like this house. Once again, if you have any suggestions on builds that you would like for me to do, please let me know in the comments. I would love to try those out. If you want to download out this house on the gallery, you will find all of the information to do so in the description, as well as a link to the online gallery for you to go and download the house on there. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you in my next one.